for spelling it right.
For episode 10, Janie Baines. Roll one, scene one, take one.
What is your name, and who or what are you?
Janie Alyssa Sykes Baines. That gets interesting when it comes time to vote, because I forget about that. But yeah, Janie Baines. Kind of a lot of things. I think sometimes I think of myself as an aunt or a wife or a daughter, sister, friend. I hope that's a good one. Believer. That's important to me in a lot of ways.
What do you not like about yourself?
I don't like that I care so much about what other people think. I think sometimes looking back over my life, sometimes I've even seen now what decisions did I really make for myself. I think sometimes it's easy to get caught up in what other people want you to be instead of just kind of deciding for yourself, like, this is who I want to be. So I don't love that sometimes I give too much weight to how a certain person or group of people would maybe receive me or not receive me. That I might take that a little personally if I felt like for some reason I wasn't wanted somewhere or accepted somewhere. But a lot of times that's also just noise in my head. It's not grounded in reality. And I wish I was more prone to just go for things. Like, I think one of my biggest fears in life I've realized is failing. And so I think if I weren't concerned with that, I would be a little more like full steam ahead on things. I'd be like, this is what I want, I'm gonna go for it. Instead, I tend to be, I want this if it pans out in a way that yields the results I want, whether it's success or whatever the thing is. So I think sometimes one of the things I really don't like about myself is that fear of failure. And if I don't know how to get somewhere, that I'm just like shut down, totally inactive. I'm not a good cook, so I don't cook. Like, kind of keeps me from going after things that I think I should be going after. Part of it is also this fear of not being good enough. And I think that sometimes ties into the failure, the what other people think of me. So I think it's partially that, and I think maybe it's partially like not measuring up. And so like for me, I'm the middle child. I have an older sister. And until I was 16, I thought she was perfect. I really thought that, like, Jesus Christ, Amy. So I knew there was one time when I was like an infant, she went to play with the chickens somewhere and wasn't supposed to. But so I think having this, and it wasn't my parents' fault, it wasn't her fault, it was nobody's fault, but just feeling like someone's setting the bar for you. And you're not really gonna reach it, but it's so effortless for them. I mean, like in my crazy left-handed scrawl, my handwriting's like a mess. She'll just write out this note and it's like calligraphy. And so I think that's part of where it comes from, is like those early years of feeling like I had a great childhood. So I don't say that to be like, oh, poor me. But I think that fear of like not measuring up is that I could try really hard and it not be good enough. And so then similarly, I think I would go after things that I knew I was really good at. And once I found those things, I just kind of stayed in those lanes and did really well in those lanes. So that was fine.
What's something you do like? about yourself?
Sometimes, especially since moving to Nashville, having less of a framework for how I maybe previously considered myself like successful or achieving things that I wanted. I feel like I've lost a certain level of confidence in a major way. And so for me, I do like it when I feel like 100% confident in who I am and what I'm doing, where I'm not looking at myself through the filter of anything else, where whether it's like I know I'm good at something or I know I made a difference in someone's life, like that's something I really like about myself. I like when maybe I've met someone, maybe it's at work, maybe it's church, whatever, and then I see them weeks later and I remember their name and I can just tell, like, for them that's huge, just that I remembered their name, that I remembered who they are, maybe their children. I remember a lot of weird facts about people too, but just kind of those moments of like confidence on my part in who I am, but then also being able to deposit that in other people. Like, I think for me, I've noticed that my life feels fuller. My days feel fuller, more joyful when I'm able to be like kind of like fully known to others, but where I also have that assurance of myself, and then I'm able to transfer that to other people, kind of bring them up alongside of me. I think when you're down here, it's hard to bring people up, but if you're kind of starting from this place of this is where we are right now, you can bring people up alongside of you. That's something I like about myself, when I'm able to do that.
If you leave here and die, without getting to say goodbye to anyone, including your husband, what part of you do you hope lives on with those people that you knew?
It's a hard question. It's like you almost have to be a little narcissistic to answer it. It's like the job interview where they're like, what's your downfall? Almost like if there were one thing. I think if it was like a tangible thing, like almost like you could look down and see one characteristic or one thing. I think that a certain level of passion, maybe I'd want to live on. I don't know if that answers the question the right way, but instead of, I wouldn't consider myself like a warm, fuzzy person, so I don't know that people are gonna remember like, oh gosh, I remember when she was just like hanging out with like a warm, cozy blanket. It's not me, probably. But I think if they could remember the times that maybe I got passionate about something, they remembered like, hey, I remember when she really cared about this cause, or her beliefs were really important to her, or her husband was really important to her, her family was really important to her. And somehow those passionate moments of caring more for others than yourself hopefully translate and stay behind. But I guess kind of the word to summarize it would maybe be passion.
Much better. Like that.
Thanks for
That's good.
the ranking.
I like that.
Much better. We can keep talking about other things.
No, that was good.
No tears shed yet.